Hello, I'm Keith, and this is my dad, Kerwin. Welcome back to Father and Son, a Star Wars podcast.
Thank you again for joining us on another episode of Father and Son of Star Wars podcast. Our guest today is Darrel Pullie, creator of Darrel's Wonderland. It is a YouTube channel focused on theories and analyses of all things Star Wars, from canon to legends. He is also an actor, writer, and director. Darrel, welcome to Father and Son of Star Wars podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. It's an honor to be here.
All right, thank you. We're excited to hear about you as well. You are from Pennsylvania, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and Pittsburgh, is it Pittsburgh?
Yep, born and raised.
Born and raised in Pittsburgh. Okay, all right, very good.
So, how long have you been a Star Wars fan?
So that's for like pretty much all my life. So it's a funny story how that started out because one of the first Christmases that I remember, that was like back in like 2006 or 2007, I believe. So Christmas was coming towards the corner, and I wanted, like, you remember the old PSPs, right? The old PlayStation Portables.
Yeah, I have. Yes.
The ones that are hard to find these days. So I wanted one of those with a game. I was very specific on the game that I wanted. I wanted a Wheel of Fortune game because even up to this day, I'm a Wheel of Fortune fan, and I even applied to be on the show back in February. So I'm still waiting to hear back from them. But back then, I didn't even know they didn't make Wheel of Fortune games for the PSP. So that's what I wanted. So I woke up early in the morning on Christmas Day, and back then when I was a child, I was always like, I had this tradition when I was younger, like, I would wake up early and snoop at least one present, just one. I would leave the others to open up when we all wake up. So it was the PSP, but it was this game called Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron. So I was completely unfamiliar with Star Wars, like, at all. I had no idea what it was. So I played it for a while towards the afternoon when I opened up everything else. I was really fascinated by the story because it kind of takes place, as far as the campaign, towards the original trilogy, and it tells the story about this elite squadron led by Commander Colsera and General Han Solo, and it goes up to Return of the Jedi. But since then, I started watching like the movies. I started doing the originals first because some of my friends, his parents, told me that, like, you should watch the originals first. All right, so I did that, and then I saw the prequels, but the prequels are literally my favorite, even though I kind of I grew up having a crush on Carrie Fisher. So that's how it came to be. So that's how I became a Star Wars fan. I started collecting stuff like you guys have in the background right there. I still have collectibles right now that are in the box because I like to keep things in the box.
Yes. Yeah. I
like lightsabers.
Yes. I like to keep things in the box as well, but I have young kids who like to take things out of the box. But
we also think out of the box.
Yes, we also try to think out of the box, outside the box. Okay.
So what made you decide to become a filmmaker, and did Star Wars have an influence on your decision?
It really does. So ever since I started watching more movies towards Star Wars, I was really impressed by the cinematography, the acting, and not to mention the music, because Star Wars was one of the first serious movies that I've watched. And the composer, John Williams, he will forever be, and he still is, a music legend up to this day. So over the years, I've seen other TV shows aside from Star Wars, and I was just really intrigued by the acting and the story and how these actors really put so much effort into these characters. So when I graduated from middle school, I was signed on to be a part of this film camp called the Joey Travolta Film Camp. And Joey Travolta is the brother of John Travolta. And Joey specializes in this film camp for people on the spectrum and with other disabilities. So he would bring his crew out to Pittsburgh, to Arkansas, to Bakersfield, California, and New Jersey. So the camp would last 2 weeks tops. I started back in 2015. It was 2 weeks, as I said, and I really loved my first year. And then I went a second year, a third year, and a fourth year, and then hit COVID. But during film camp, I have made a lot of connections. Even one of my instructors, Barry Pearl, he played a role in the movie Grease. He was one of the T-Birds known as Duty. He's a really nice gentleman. He really taught me a lot in how to, he gave me some tips with my acting, and it's those tips and guidance that made me into a good actor and a filmmaker. One of the last, I think my last year in film camp before COVID hit, Joey and Barry actually spoke to each other before film camp started in Pittsburgh, saying that given how I have experience in directing and things like that, they wanted me, like the first student in this film camp, to direct like one of the films that the students would make, because the film camp will be divided to 3 groups: the younger kids, the somewhat older kids, and then the older kids. So I was in Barry's room, so that would make me the middle. I wanted to annoy him one last time. So it was this Lulu short film. It was about this android, and I really loved directing, and I really loved working with these talented people that Joey brought with him from Bakersfield. So quite after that, and when COVID hit, since film camp couldn't really be a thing, all things considered, because it's not really worth it to jump state to state, I decided to sit down and go on Setflix, my script writing website, and okay, let's do like a Star Wars fan film. Let's just come up with a draft, and after that, see how it looks. Because fun fact that this script went through over 40 revisions, even when we were shooting this year. But of course, given that this was a Star Wars fan film, I needed to contact Lucasfilm to see where I go from here, because my buddy Star Wars Theory up in Canada had to do the same when he made his Vader fan film. They gave him 2 roles, they gave me 4. I couldn't monetize it, which was a huge duh. And making money off of it it didn't even cross my mind, because this is a passion for me. I cannot publicly crowdfund it, but there's a loophole to that. But so far, so good. I can't use any protected sounds, images, or logos, and I have to make it clear that this is a fan film and not affiliated with like Disney and Lucasfilm had no involvement. So yeah, to answer your question, Star Wars has a huge effect with my filmmaking.
And how did you find out about the Joey Travolta film camp?
All right, so my parents actually found that out for me, because they know how in touch I was with acting and filmmaking, because they've been noticing how I was able to get my first video camera. At the time, it was an old one, and it was low quality, but I had to start somewhere. So they figured out, like, hey, what's a good camp for him that he can do over the summer? Because before the film camp, the other summer camps I was sent to, I really didn't like them. It really didn't connect with me at all. So I just needed something that I can really that I can actually be happy about, because I love film and I love acting, and all the other, as I said, all the other summer camps were not doing much good for me.
All right. Let's talk about your YouTube channel. Why did you want to start a YouTube channel?
Okay, so before I did Star Wars content on the channel, and this was before it was called Darrel's Wonderland. I forgot what it was called back then. It was such a long time, because I had essentially I've had the channel for about 5 years. So my first few years, I did vlogs and I did pranks and I did reactions. Um, so it because I was inspired by this YouTuber, and I still watch his videos though. His name is Jesse Ridgway. He goes by McJuggernuggets on YouTube. He was known for the Psycho series that he did on this channel, where it consists of his father constantly destroying his son's video games, and they do pranks, of course, but it's mostly destruction of video games. And back then, when I was younger, I thought that stuff was real. And they even did a finale when they had a vacation to I forgot where they went, but they were all saying it's a wrap, and it was just emotional towards the end. But they still do videos like that, and it's quite amazing. So I did vlogs like that, similar to that, but when I found like when you look over old videos, you just become like somewhat like disappointed, like, okay, this is not really doing any good. So I got rid of all those videos, and then I just stopped for a while. When I was watching Alice in Wonderland with a friend of mine, around this time when winter's about to head the corner, I was looking at my YouTube page completely empty. So I'm figuring out like a name for the channel now, like a new one. So I figured, okay, I need something that's not taken. I need something that's unique. I need something that's genuine, that speaks to me. So as we were approaching the end of the movie, I just figured, okay, Wonderland, Darrel's Wonderland. It has a nice ring to it. So I did that, and not long after, I started doing Star Wars content. Because if you see my old videos, like you'll know that the audio is quite crappy, but I had like this really old recorder where it's portable, but the audio is trash. It's pure trash. You can hear me, but it's trash. And if you compare that to the videos that I do now, you can hear that the audio is much clean. But I had to start somewhere, because my first Star Wars video on the channel was what if the ARC Trooper 5, CT5555, actually revealed Order 66. Like, what if like Anakin and Rex actually took his words to heart?
How many subscribers do you have currently?
I currently have 12,500, I believe. I'm trying to reach at least 20,000 by the end of the year.
Wow. Okay. And how were you able to gain so many subscribers in such a short period of time?
Well, this has been a good it's been a good 5 years. So I had to do plenty of promotion. It was just a bunch of hard work. I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and a little bit of money into this, because now these days, I don't really do the thumbnails anymore because I don't like how I do them. So I have a friend in Pakistan who's a proficient Photoshop designer. I would pay him some money to do, and he doesn't charge that bad at all. I would just ask him for a certain thumbnail, what I would like in it, and he would just like know, like, okay, I know what the video is about, so I know what to put in here. And then they would turn out just amazing. And then I would just put the thumbnail on. And of course, I have my Instagram where I promote my videos, and I would just say, hey, new video, and I would put the thumbnail up. And of course, I would give him credit because I would like him to get some recognition, and of course some credit and maybe some followers while it happens. So yeah, aside from the subscribers, of course it took me at least 5 years, say about 4 years to get monetized. So before the pandemic, I got like the notification that my channel is able to go under review for monetization. At first, I really didn't meet the criteria, because back then I still had old edited videos that I did. Like, for example, a few years ago, there was this Uber driver who was screaming at this lady to get out of his car, and she was acting innocent, but it's no brainer that she kind of started it before she started recording. So everybody was making animations about it. So I decided to take that animation, edit it, and make it like a helium voice. So the reason why I didn't make it, because there was reused content. So aside from my Star Wars content, which I'm perfectly okay to use, I looked at my other stuff, like, okay, maybe I could take this off. I took off like a few videos, and then next month later, I tried to apply again, and in less than 48 hours, because it usually takes a month, I finally got reviewed, and I was actually able to pass the criteria. And then when I got home, I was able to monetize all my videos. I don't make that much right now. It's enough for me, but when I grow in the future, I know it's going to get bigger for me.
Mm. Wow. So at some point, you might have had some videos that really connected with people and it just went viral, and you might have picked up thousands of subscribers within a short period of time, I guess.
I did. Some of my popular videos, like so the movie The Rise of Skywalker, where Rey hears all the voices of the Jedi past, I did two versions of that video because they're both flashbacks, but the updated one is where we have the live action Ahsoka. But the first one is where it hit over like 1.5 or 1.7 million views. I think it's 1.5 because the 1.71 is this compilation of scenes of Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian. So, of course, like when you hear the voices, I would just like put like say if it's the first quote, "These are your final steps, Rey. Rise and take them." Of course, I would put like a scene of Obi-Wan there, then Anakin, Ahsoka, and Kanan, and then the line goes, the rest of it is self-explanatory.
Well, I want to actually talk about one of your videos that has to do with Ahsoka. It's the one that's called "What Did Ahsoka Want to Tell Anakin During Revenge of the Sith?" Now, we've heard unofficially, not from Lucasfilm, but we've heard in the papers that Hayden Christensen is going to guest star on the upcoming Ahsoka series. So we're going to have the opportunity to see Ahsoka and Anakin back together. Now, we don't know if it's going to be in flashbacks or if Anakin is going to appear as a Force ghost. We don't know. But let's say he comes back in the series as a Force ghost, right?
So the last time Anakin and Ahsoka saw each other that we know of was in season 2 of Star Wars Rebels, in the finale of the show of season 2, the Duel on Malachor. This was when Ahsoka realized Anakin and Darth Vader were one and the same.
Right. So let's theorize. The Ahsoka series is going to take place after Return of Jedi. At this point, Anakin have returned to the light side of the Force. Let's say Anakin does appear before Ahsoka as a Force ghost. So here are two questions for you, Darrel. One, what do you think Anakin would say to Ahsoka? And two, now that Ahsoka has the opportunity to speak to Anakin, what would Ahsoka tell Anakin?
All right, so I'll give you two answers, but side note, I can tell that this is confirmed because in the past, for the season 2 of The Mandalorian, we have heard a lot of stories that Katie Sackhoff will reprise her role as the live action Bo-Katan. And to double this confirmation that Anakin is in it, I follow Rosario Dawson on Instagram and Twitter. She put up a photo of herself and Hayden, and she said, "Sky Guy, they know. See you soon. Snips." So if we do have a scene where Anakin's Force Ghost actually sees Ahsoka, I would say that they have a lot to talk about, like considering everything that Anakin has done. But I'm pretty sure Anakin would just try to tell Ahsoka that he's been forgiven, and kind of like how in Legends, how Anakin met up with Leia. Like, of course, like he has a lot to atone for, and how he's apologizing, like he's like really remorseful for all the pain he has caused. Of course, Ahsoka would be justified to share some of her grief. Like she would be like annoyed with him, like she would be furious, but at the same time, I believe she'll at least try her best to forgive him. Like it may not be like the first time they meet, maybe it might be like a second time, because of course, like you can't just like change overnight. You can't just like do things, like you can't like change overnight. Like you have to do a lot of amends, because over like 20 years of Darth Vader spreading terror throughout the galaxy. Yeah, that will take some time.
That's a very good point, right? What do you think?
Yeah, probably. Because
What do you think?
you know, they were friends, so Ahsoka's probably gonna be sort of sad, happy, but upset. It's probably gonna be a flurry of emotions.
True.
Yeah, that's true. And I wonder if Ahsoka is going to feel that has she been there with Anakin during the time they went back to try to save Palpatine because Palpatine was held as hostage by Count Dooku, that this may not have happened. So if we were at that point where, we know what happened with Count Dooku when Anakin made that decision to do what he did to Count Dooku, that if Ahsoka was there, she would have just stopped him right then and there and said, "No, Anakin, don't do it." And he might have had second thoughts, and that might have changed things for him.
Although at that point, Ahsoka wasn't, a character. She was
But
only.
if we're talking, yeah, but if we're talking like story wise, then so let us say that for that part of the story, let us say that Ahsoka did go with him, but for a short time, and maybe, yeah, let us say that Ahsoka went with them, and for the sake of Bo-Katan and Mandalore, we would send someone like okay, because let's send the Battle Master of the Jedi Temple, Sindralik, because he's proficient in saber combat and he would tear them all in half. Um, so let's say that oh yeah, Sindralik was he was a complete goat. Like he knew all 7 forms and he was really fast. Like of course when Palpatine says kill him now, like you could see like, yo, we were just talking a few minutes ago how we had this plan of how I was gonna kill Obi-Wan and try to coax Anakin into the dark side. Like we had a deal. Like I thought, like what happened to all of that? That would be the moment where Dooku would rat Palpatine out. And of course he would say, Anakin, he's crazy. Kill him. Do it. And of course, Dooku would like tell Anakin how Palpatine has been conducting the war the whole time, how he was the one behind the assassination attempts on Padme. And of course, this is where Anakin would remind himself that, like, yeah, you shouldn't do this because it's not the Jedi way. Since he took off his hands, he wouldn't be much trouble. So of course, he's literally an unarmed person. So of course he would take him. Of course, the story would play out the same way. They would end up on the bridge. Dooku would be disgusted with Palpatine. I mean, not with Palpatine, with Dooku. Once they get back on the surface, of course, Dooku would present himself in front of the council and just tell the Jedi everything. They would go down to the Senate and, arrest him. But this time, Anakin would be with them, and instead of besides Palpatine. But this is where Palpatine would be kind of screwed. Like, instead of just like standing up and just saying it's treason, then he would already know just by calculating, he would have like he knew he would have no chance against all of them. Like, yeah, he could probably take out Kenobi. He would probably possibly take out Ahsoka, but the rest of the battle masters like Windu, Fisto, Agen, Skywalker, and the others. So of course, this is where he would retreat to goodness knows where. And before he would leave, he would try to execute Protocol 66, but that would only expose him further. So that would be the moment where he would flash lightning on them and just retreat.
So it would have not have prevented Order 66. So Order 66 was inevitable, apparently. That was going to happen. But you're saying that had Ahsoka been there to stop Anakin from destroying Dooku, and Dooku did confess to the council what happened, as far as Anakin, do you think he still would have turned to the dark side? Do you think Palpatine really had that hold on him that even if it didn't happen then, at some point, maybe during Order 66, Anakin would have still turned to the dark side? Do you think that still would have happened?
So given that, so in my theory, and I might make a video on this, so this might be my next what if. So what if, so let us say that, of course, after Palpatine would escape, and of course they would end up finding him, everything would be right as rain. But we have to keep in mind though that after Dooku revealed everything, and after Anakin went to the council after the Battle of Coruscant, none of those dreams that Palpatine put in his head was actually like put into it, because if Anakin didn't find that out, like that Dooku was, I mean, that Palpatine was the Sith Lord, everything would have continued the way it did in the actual movie. So since Anakin wasn't sleeping after the battle, like none of those dreams were put in his head, none of those premonitions or anything, because Palpatine was the one that put those thoughts in his head, because he knew that Yoda wouldn't help him. He knew that like the Jedi wouldn't really help him. So yeah, speak to your grandfather figure, and yeah, hey pops, hey, like I have someone who's dying here. Like is there a way to save her? Yeah, I can tell you this Darth Plagueis remnant that doesn't exist. Oh, did I say that out loud?
And Darrell, by the way, your Palpatine impression is spot on. So do you, that was really good. So do you do all the impressions as well? Because I've heard, I don't know if you have an actor actually doing the impressions, or are you doing those yourself?
No, yeah, I do not have a good Palpatine impression because there's too much me in it. I have a few friends, Cletus, and I have my friend Jonathan, who at one point in one of my videos where I actually explained this deleted scene in episode 3 where Obi-Wan talks to Padme about Anakin, um, my friend Jonathan was the one who did the voice of Obi-Wan. And of course, I had just narrated Padme in my regular voice because I couldn't find anyone who would do Padme because I needed the video out at a certain time.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, I thought you did a very good impression of Palpatine.
Thank you.
So, can you tell us more about your fan-made movie? Like where and when will it be available?
Okay, so The Fallen Apprentice, we are still in post-production for the film. So theoretically, we should have something ready by March of 2022. So I'm still in contact with my editors and my cinematographer almost every other day, because my cinematographer, Brian Chimini, and without him, I'm going to say this on the record, without him, this film would have never gotten this far how it is right now, because when I reached out to him for the first time, he was a college professor at the PTC, the Pittsburgh Technical College. I used that to my advantage because he told me he had access to a whole lot of good gear and the students to man it, because some of the students did it for a passion, some of it did it because they wanted to, and others did it for extra credits or something like that. And I have to admit, everyone was just great, even the actors, because I was familiar with most of the actors. Like Valina Zatello, she was my leading actress. She plays Lavinia Corin. She is the Fallen Apprentice in our film. And of course, Bogdan Hikato, I hope I said his last name right. He's our choreographer as well, and he's one of the ones who handles the props because he has his own lightsabers. He has his own fencing studio, and he does fencing choreography, fight choreography, and of course there's sword and lightsaber choreography. So he's a very talented guy. And there's so many other actors that are in this. Well, not too many. We have at least 10 to 12 because we do have voice actors as well. So this thing, The Fallen Apprentice, has been a thing for over a year. We were planning to do this last year, but as I said, by the time the script was done, I heard of COVID. So I figured this should blow over in a month, and a month became a year. But that did give me an advantage because I was able to find more crew members, and I was able to send all these revisions out to say, all right, how do you like this? And I'm not that sort of director and writer that says, look, I don't care what your feedback is. I don't care what your opinion is. Just follow the script. No, if you have feedback, especially with a writer and a director like me, I want to hear it, because if it's good and if it's going to help, I want to hear it, because I don't want to give you guys like a lame duck script. Because like yeah, that's just my tentative. Like, it's not the final until we actually shoot it. So, if anything, we will have a trailer ready, hopefully around Christmas time. Like, that's my hope.
Yes.
But we still have stuff to do as far as post production. We're in post right now, as I said. We had to get a certain scene done because there was a plot hole that needed to be filled. So I needed to establish a scene to fill that up. We're considering doing a post credit scene as well. So I don't need anybody to say when we have a red carpet premiere, because we will have one sometime next year. So I'll relay all the information I can on my channel, and I'll be able to relay it on the Fallen Apprentices socials like Facebook and Instagram. So I hope it will be sometime in March. And we still have some voiceover stuff to do. And then once we have the rough cut, I'll have my composer get started on the music and the post sound. So once that's all done, yeah.
That's right. Keith is
I'm serious.
yes, he's
I am serious.
we have an avid editor here. You know, he loves filmmaking, and Keith also does stop motion animation. So he's very serious. You know, he's looking to learn the business, the film business. So yeah.
I actually had back on the channel before I did the Star Wars content, there was one video I remember that it was a stop motion little short, if you will. It was a Lego one. I forgot the premise of it, but I remember doing it. All I remember is that it was like a 20 second one, I believe, where this guy is continuously trying to pull the sword out of the clay. But for the premise of the video, it was a pile of rocks. He kept on falling down in the most funniest ways, whether he's rolling over and over, whether his head's coming off, whether his arm is stuck to the sword. It was just really creative at the time. And of course, I was just learning to get into YouTube.
Darrel, congratulations on your 12,000 plus subscribers.
Thank you.
Yeah. When your film is ready, we'd like to have you back on the podcast so we can discuss it.
Of course. So we should have the trailer soon. I'll be able to keep everybody posted. As far as my next video on the channel, it's going to be an interactive trivia quiz on The Mandalorian season 2. Last year, I have done interactive quizzes. However, I stopped them because back then I used to edit my videos at the library, and this was before I had my MacBook, because I did my quizzes on Final Cut Pro, and you can't really do these good quizzes on iMovie because they can only let you have one text on top. That's it. They won't let you stack it up. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And you can't hit the return button because then it thinks you're done typing.
Exactly.
Oh, there you go. All right. Are you looking forward to the Boba Fett series?
Oh yeah, definitely. I uploaded the channel on my trailer, and I was really happy to see it. And in one of the scenes that I saw in the trailer, I really thought it was a meme worthy, where Boba Fett is picking up on one of the melee swords and striking it down at whoever's attacking him and Fennec. So if I would stop it right there, clip that out, and just think of a good meme caption, or maybe I could just post it and just say caption this, and maybe I can get something from my friends to see. Okay, maybe they can give me some inspiration on what to do with this meme.
All right. Yeah. So 2022 is going to be big. It's going to be big for Star Wars and big for you as well, Darrel. I can't wait to see your video.
You can caption it, Boba Fett is Boba angry.
True.
And the funny part is that it doesn't rhyme.
All right. All the best to you in your future projects.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. And thank you very much for having me on.
Yes.
Where can people find you?
Okay, you can find me on YouTube at Darrel's Wonderland. You'll be able to see my logo. It'll be a kind of a damaged Mace Windu face with the DW logo. It shouldn't be so hard to find. Once you put Darrel's Wonderland, you'll see me on top. For Instagram, it'll be at Darrel's Wonderland, same logo. And I do have an actor's profile on Instagram too, like my personal one at Darrel Pullie. So, and if you do want to like the Fallen Apprentice page on Facebook, you can find us on there too. And we'll be posting updates like we will on Instagram, behind the scenes photos, and possible updates regarding potential film festivals for next year. Because yes, I do want to put this in film festivals. I want to get a lot of publicity on this one.
Absolutely. Thank
My
you.
mom can help with publicity.
Darrel, thank you again. That's Darrel Pullie, creator of Darrel's Wonderland YouTube channel. Keith, where can people find us?
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, Amazon Music, Audible, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, thank you. And we also have a YouTube channel. We just passed 300 subscribers, so thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you for those who have subscribed, and please continue to reach out to others who may not be aware of our podcast. We are also on Facebook. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. All right.
And our website, FatherSonGalaxy.com.
All right, everyone. So take care. And until next time, we will see you again.